An entire Greek city disappeared beneath water and mud in a single night. 10,000 people, men, women, children, swallowed by the earth without warning. The temples, the homes, the screams, all silenced in hours. For 2,000 years, Helike existed only as a ghost story, a cautionary tale whispered by ancient writers. Historians called it legend, skeptics called it myth. But 30 feet beneath a Greek lagoon, the truth was waiting. And what archaeologists found there would rewrite everything we thought we knew about ancient catastrophes. The year was 373 BCE. Greece was a patchwork of powerful city-states, and among them stood Helike, wealthy, influential, and blessed by the gods, or so its people believed. This was no ordinary settlement. Helike commanded the Achaean League, a confederation of 12 cities. Its bronze coins circulated throughout the Mediterranean, and at its heart stood a temple to Poseidon, so magnificent that pilgrims traveled from distant lands just to witness its glory. But Poseidon, the ancient Greeks believed, was not only god of the sea, he was the earth shaker, and he was about to demonstrate why. The warnings came 5 days before the end. Ancient sources tell us that every snake, every rat, every weasel fled the city in a mass exodus. The people of Helike watched this strange procession with unease but did not understand. Animals sense what humans cannot. Microtremors, shifts in electromagnetic fields, changes in groundwater. Creatures knew death was coming. The humans stayed. On a winter night in 373 BCE, the earth beneath Helike began to move. But this was no ordinary ancient earthquake. The ground didn't just shake, it liquefied. Modern geologists call this phenomenon liquefaction. When seismic waves pass through water-saturated soil, solid ground transforms into something like quicksand. Buildings don't just fall, they sink. And Helike, built on a coastal plain near the Gulf of Corinth, sat on exactly this kind of unstable terrain. The ancient writer, Aelian, described what happened next. A massive wave, a tsunami, rolled in from the Gulf of Corinth, completing what the earthquake had begun. The water did not recede. Helike, along with the neighboring town of Bura, vanished beneath a new lagoon. When dawn broke, there was nothing. No ruins, no survivors. Just water where a city had stood hours before. The Greek historian Diodorus wrote that the destruction was so complete that rescue ships sailing to help could find nothing but rooftops, barely visible beneath the waves. They pulled bodies from the water for days. The ancient world was stunned. How could the gods allow this? Helike had been devoted to Poseidon. Its temple was among the finest in Greece. Some ancient writers believe Poseidon himself had destroyed the city in rage, punishment for the citizens' refusal to give their sacred statue to colonists who had requested it. Others saw it as an omen of worse things to come. But whatever the cause, the message was clear. Even the mightiest cities could be erased in a single night. For centuries after its destruction, Helike remained visible. The Roman traveller Pausanias, writing 500 years later, described how fishermen still caught their nets on the sunken city's ruins. Tourists would hire boats to peer down at the submerged streets, much like visitors to Venice today. The bronze statue of Poseidon, they said, still stood beneath the waves, a haunting reminder of divine power. But then, Helike disappeared a second time. Sediment from the rivers feeding the Gulf of Corinth slowly buried the ruins. The lagoon became marshland. The marshland became farmland. By the modern era, the exact location of this lost Greek city had been forgotten entirely. Scholars knew the ancient texts. They knew Helike had existed somewhere along the southern coast of the Gulf of Corinth. But where? The landscape had changed so dramatically over 2 millennia that the coastline itself had shifted. The sea was now miles from where ancient Helike had supposedly stood. Many archaeologists began to wonder, was the story of Helike exaggerated? Was this sunken city perhaps more legend than history? The search for Helike became one of archaeology's great obsessions. In 1861, German archaeologists dug along the coast and found nothing. In 1950, Greek researchers tried again. Still nothing. The problem was that everyone was looking in the wrong place. They searched underwater, assuming the sunken city remained beneath the gulf. They didn't realize the gulf had retreated. The breakthrough came in 1988 when two determined researchers, Greek archaeologist Dora Katsonopoulou and American Stephen Sota, began a systematic survey using a combination of ancient texts, geological analysis, and modern technology. They realized that Helike wasn't underwater anymore. It was under land, specifically under a thick layer of clay and sediment deposited over centuries by the Selinus River. Using magnetometry and ground-penetrating radar, they scanned the coastal plain inch by inch. In 2001, they found it, not beneath the sea, but beneath a vineyard. The archaeology mystery that had puzzled scholars for generations was finally solved. 30 feet underground, preserved in the very mud that had swallowed it. What the excavations revealed was extraordinary. The destruction had been so sudden, so complete, that Helike was frozen in time. A Bronze Age Pompeii, but older by 4 centuries. Archaeologists found city walls still standing to significant heights, preserved by the anaerobic mud that had sealed them from decay. They found cobblestone streets, building foundations, pottery still in place where it had fallen. The evidence confirmed the ancient accounts with chilling precision. The buildings hadn't collapsed from shaking, they had sunk intact, pulled down by liquefied earth. Some walls tilted at dramatic angles, exactly as you'd expect from ground that had turned to quicksand. Coins scattered across floors told of interrupted daily life. And beneath it all, earlier layers revealed that this location had been inhabited for thousands of years before the final catastrophe. Settlements dating back to the early Bronze Age, nearly 5,000 years ago. But perhaps the most significant discovery was what Helike revealed about ancient earthquake science. The city's destruction matches perfectly with modern understanding of seismic liquefaction and tsunami dynamics. The ancient writers weren't exaggerating. If anything, they were remarkably accurate observers of geological phenomena they couldn't possibly have understood. There's one more twist to the story of Helike. Some scholars believe this lost Greek city inspired the most famous legend of all, Atlantis. Plato wrote his account of Atlantis just a few years after Helike's destruction, and the parallels are striking. Both were wealthy, powerful civilizations. Both were swallowed by the sea in divine punishment. Both vanished in a single day and night. Plato would certainly have known about Helike. The disaster was the talk of the Greek world. Did he transform a real catastrophe into philosophical allegory? We may never know for certain. But what we do know is this. Sometimes the most incredible stories turn out to be true. For 2,000 years, Helike was dismissed as legend. Now, its streets are being walked again, its secrets finally surrendering to patient science. The Earthshaker took Helike in a night, but he couldn't keep it hidden forever. Helike reminds us that the ancient world still holds secrets beneath our feet. Cities we've forgotten. Disasters we've dismissed as myth. Entire civilizations waiting to be rediscovered. The Gulf of Corinth remains one of the most seismically active regions in Europe. The same forces that destroyed Helike still pulse beneath the earth today. And somewhere out there, other lost cities lie buried, their stories untold, their ruins undiscovered. If you found this journey into the past fascinating, subscribe and hit the notification bell. We explore ancient mysteries, lost civilizations,